Hey guys, welcome to another test. Today we'll be testing a pro paid security suite that is TrendMicro Titanium Internet Security, and the latest version is 2012. Now this product is probably from Japan. I think TrendMicro is based in Japan. I'm not very sure, but I think that's where they're from. But anyway, this is how their basic user interface looks like. It's an Internet Security Suite, and it's pretty simple looking, but they do have some features. If you hit this Tools button, you go to their parent controls, data theft prevention, but all the stuff is basically disabled by default, and I'm not interested in actually enabling it because I don't think it affects security. But they do have some other settings which you can see by hitting the settings tab, and they do have a behavior analysis, which is their method of detecting zero-day threats. So I think that's all they've got against zero-day malware. Now you have two levels of protection of this behavior blocker. It can be set to recommended or hypersensitive. Now if you set it to hypersensitive, most probably it'll just give you an alert if anything does anything that's suspicious, like any startup program, any registry key modification. It's just going to alert you. So if you stay somewhere where, or basically if you're really vulnerable to threats, then you can hit that, but I'll just leave it at stock. Just see how it does. They do have a web filter. I'll just leave everything stock. You can bust up the settings somewhat if you want, but I'll just leave it at stock. Now they do have a firewall, maybe, I'm not sure. Now here you've got a system startup. You basically mess with some of settings. They do have different skins. Let's try this. It's just for choice. Anyway, you can set, they do have a firewall, I think that's what I mean to say. Network. No, they don't have their firewall of their own. They just have a firewall booster, which basically just improves the performance of Windows firewall. So that's all they've got. And so these are the features. And if you look at the installer, it's pretty small, but it downloaded about 50 megs from the web. So it's a web installer. And so we'll just go to malware domain list. No, I guess I'll go to CleanMX. I think a lot of links are dead today from malware domain list. And we'll just see if it succeeds in protecting the computer. Of course, I've got some files because this is Internet Security, and it'll be competing for the ThePCSecurity of the year. So certainly I will do a link test and a file scan. But first, let's just get this link test over with. Okay, so we've got lots of stuff over here. This one's adware. Pretty low. It's 10 out of 42. Let's try this. Okay, so this one was blocked by their web blocking, which I think is pretty good. Second one is some kind of a malicious script, and it's got only 3. So in VirusTool, I think it's just got 3 out of 39. So could be a big false positive, which I think it is. This one's JS redirector. Blocked. This one's got pretty high detection rate and is blocked. This one's suspected Trojan Win32 agent. Probably false positive, too low detection rate. I generally think that a piece of malware should have at least 4 to 5 in VirusTool to be classified as malware. But we'll try this. It's probably dead. some strange screensaver instead. So we've tried already about 4 links and nothing's gone through. Okay, this one's some Trojan script, I think. Okay, so it's hung up my browser, which is interesting. And it doesn't appear as if TrendMicro is doing anything, and instead it appears like this is basically trying to drop some kind of file. Not sure what that did, but whatever, if it did anything, this is an IRC bot. So TrendMicro didn't do anything, that's what I'm sure of. I don't know what this did. So I'll just basically try this one again. Another kind of script. And the fact that it's just hanging up my browser for a few seconds is making me suspect that it's dropping some file in the background. And then website's opening. But anyway, we'll just find out at the end of this review what was missed. Right now, let's just continue. Okay, so what was this one? I guess this was, okay, it's a Win32 potentially unwanted program. Let's see if it's detected by TrendMicro or not. It's not exactly a piece of malware, it's a potentially unwanted program, so it's not going to be a big miss, even if it's missed. Anyway, it ran, and it looks like we have restart to remove some threads. I'm not going to do that right now, but I will do that after some time. We'll try a lot of links as well. We'll just try as much as we can. We'll just try as much malware links to our heart's content, and then we're going to run Hitman Pro. This one was blocked again, so the web blocking seems to be doing pretty well. That's what I can say by looking at so many blocks. But certainly there were some misses, because look at this, 33 out of 42, and it was missed. I don't know if it was missed, but certainly didn't see anything from TrendMicro. Now this is all adware, and it just disappeared. Disappeared again, and it's trying to save some file. Save it on my desktop. See if TrendMicro gets it. Okay, so I can't exactly open this because it's an unknown extension, but certainly I'm going to try to scan it with TrendMicro before I send it to Firestone. This is all a lot of adware. I'm not exactly interested in a lot of adware. There you go, it's all the same file with different names. Let's try this. Trojan dropper. So it should be interesting, and it's been blocked. So as far as I can see, the web blocking of TrendMicro has been pretty good, but I don't know how good exactly their protection against malware on the computer is, but they certainly do have a good web blocking. So it wanted me to restart. I'm just going to do a scan and then restart. And scan these two files. Okay, so they've come up clean, so I'm going to restart, and then I'll just run a scan with Hitman Pro, and I'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, Hitman Pro just finished scanning, and I didn't find anything at all. But what I did is, as usual, I just uploaded these two files to Firestone, and here are the results. Now, as you can see, we've got pretty high detection rates. 23 out of 42 is certainly going to make me think that this is a piece of malware. This one also has the same detection rate. Now if we look at the engine stuff, it's caught by Antifear, that's Ophira, Avast, AVG, Bitdefender, Komodo, Dr. Web, MCSoft. So it's basically pretty certainly it's a piece of malware, but they've not exactly been detected as malware. They've been detected as adware. If you look at the description, it's basically detected as a piece of adware. So it's basically a piece of adware which I'm not very interested in. Yeah, certainly adwares can be kind of annoying, but they're not major infections. They're not going to wreck your system or anything like that. So as far as the link test is concerned, TrendMicro didn't do bad, did okay. Shouldn't have let these two adwords slip through, but Hitman Pro didn't detect these pieces of adware either. So, which was kind of strange because MSoft had it in their database. So, which is strange, but anyway. So, TrendMicro did do a decent job with the links, but here are the files and we'll see how they do. From what I remember of TrendMicro, basically their links blocking has always been decent, but their file blocking has been kind of bad, but I don't know, this version I've never tested it. So first I'll just disable their antivirus. These are all pretty old files. By old, I don't mean years old, but kind of been a month since some of them have started. Some, of course, are of this week, but they're all pretty old. So I'm expecting a detection ratio of around 80%. I think 80% should be kind of the detection rate that any good antivirus should give on files like this. It should be at least 80%. Good antiviruses will get over 90%. So we'll just wait for the scan to finish. And I'll just be back because their scan does seem kind of slow. So I'll be back. Just one more thing. The scan's going on and it's removing some files, but I just forgot to mention, I got reminded by this video of this cloud. They do have a cloud that is connected with this security suite, so it does have cloud as zero-day protection. Maybe there they've got some kind of behavior analysis or something like that. So basically it's a cloud component. They've got a cloud component, because I didn't mention that when I looked at their interface. I said that they just have a behavior monitor, that's all. But they do have a cloud. That's something I forgot to mention. So I'll be back when this is done because it's taking a long while. Their scanner really seems to be slow on random files. Their full scan will probably be quicker, but look at this. I mean, it's taking basically almost 10 to 20 or maybe even 30 seconds for one file, which is really slow. So I'll be back. So it finally finished scanning. Well, it took forever. It took about 20 minutes to scan this folder of malware, which most other antiviruses would have scanned in less than a minute, in some seconds, but this took about 20 minutes, so it's really slow. But if we look at this, they've removed everything that they could. So as you can see, the resolved at 70, so it saves me from having to do another scan. So basically what we're looking at are the misses. Just going to open the RAR files, because sometimes the antivirus software doesn't detect RAR files. Anyway, no, it's not detecting them. So anyway, these are the number of misses. I think we've got 22 files, and the parent folder had 83. So it's a 73.5% detection rate, which is pretty bad on files like these that are pretty old. I'd expect any good security suite to get at least 80. And this is what I've always been complaining about TrendMicro. In all their versions, what I've seen is they do pretty well in the web blocking and their detection rates are poor. Okay, I'll enable their auto protect. So now let's see. Now this is okay. Their detection rate is not that good. I mean, it's poor. I mean, 73 is not acceptable on files like these. At least 80, as I said, and good security suites will probably get about 90. So 73 is not exactly the worst, but it has to be called bad. Can call it average. Average is about 80. So what I'm going to try to do is I'll just try to run some of these and see. They say they've got a cloud, they've got behavior blocking. We'll see if any of those zero-day components respond. From what it looks to me, this application doesn't seem to have anything other than their signatures and web blocking, because I've never seen, whenever I've tested their software, I'm yet to get a zero-day alert. I've never got any alerts from their zero-day telling me that something's trying a dangerous action or anything like that. As you can see, it's not doing anything at all. And this computer's getting pretty badly infected. As you can see, there's nothing at all from TrendMicro. If their signatures don't get it, then you're out of luck. And that's exactly what's happening over here. So no point of installing all this stuff, because all I wanted to see was that if TrendMicro, okay, finally I get an alert when this is installing that, okay, so it was prevented from doing an action which could pose a security risk. So it wasn't blocked entirely, but some of its actions were blocked. So it's kind of like sandbox, not a sandbox, it's just restricted some of its actions. But still, as you saw, so many files in just one alert, so certainly their zero-day components aren't working that well. And probably they don't want to improve it too much because it's going to give more alerts. So far, what I've seen, okay, finally, this was their signatures. I think it's compressed, it couldn't find it anyway. So something was detected out of all this, which is better than nothing, but it certainly isn't good. Now TrendMicro, okay, it's getting some stuff, but it's too little, that's what I feel. And it's getting this after these applications have run for a long time, and this basically going to restart my computer, and TrendMicro doesn't seem to be doing anything at all. So it didn't do that bad. Certainly it did a little better than what I expected, because the web blocking was pretty good. Just 2 adverts were missed, and I do see that they have added a behavior blocking, and that's working somewhat. I've got 2 or 3 applications that were blocked. Maybe they would have restarted the computer or something, but they were blocked. So certainly they're improving, which is good to see. But right now, certainly I won't recommend this piece of software just because its zero-day is lacking. And okay, fine, you've not got zero-day, you don't like too many alerts, but if you've not got zero-day, you need great signatures, and they certainly don't have great signatures. They don't even have good signatures, so certainly it's not doing very well at the moment, but I hope they do well. I hope they keep improving in their later versions. So that's it for this review, and I'll put out the ratings as I always do in Pro Security Suite reviews. I'll be doing some more like Kaspersky and McAfee later on, but for now it's goodbye and good day.